Hi, my name is Lindy Cowling. Welcome to this channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. Email info@lindycowling.co.uk. And the title of the video today is Soul Connections, the blurring of the signs, or the blurring of the signs of soul connections, the blurring of the signs of a soul connection or soul connections. So the reason I'm bringing this video out today is, as you know, if you are new to this channel, or maybe you don't know, if you're new to the channel, it's an experiential humanitarian channel, which means all work that I do or I share has been experienced by me personally or professionally, i.e. by myself personally or professionally in my work as a qualified therapist. So I only share what I'm experiencing with clients or I've gone through myself, and or both. So the reason I'm bringing this out today is within the last few weeks to the last month, really, it has been especially prevalent, the amounts of people that I am seeing or working with, that there is a change, a shift in global perception and consciousness that is causing the blurring of some of the boundaries or signs, dead giveaways of what a soul connection is. And I'm just going to talk about why that is. So even a few months ago, maybe even a few months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, there were quite profound differences between what you would call twin flames or twin flame union, what you would call soul connections, old soulmates, ascensionary soulmates, twin flame union, the new form of spiritual connections, conscious relationships, unconscious relationships, etc., etc. I could go on all day about the different categories there, and some of them, there are still those differences between the categories, but there has been a change, there has been a shift, and there has been a blurring of what you would traditionally see as the dead giveaway signs of these connections. Now, this blurring hasn't affected my work at all, or how I work and how I discern on behalf of people that work with me what is happening on a soul level, or what is happening on the level of spirit, or what the whole thing is about. But for the people approaching me, there is actually more confusion than there's been before, because there is a mass interpretation that if somebody has connected with someone in a metaphysical way, i.e. they've connected with somebody, a soul connection, a twin flame, a soulmate, a catalyst, whatever, and they are getting metaphysical signs that it must absolutely only be a twin flame and nothing else. And what I am seeing globally is, in fact, a lot of those, what people called signs of a twin flame or signs of a connection, actually we are seeing many of them now across the board, whatever category you fall in. So it might be a catalyst and you're seeing metaphysical signs, woo-woo signs, you feel like you've had history with them before. It might be a soulmate and you feel the same. It might be twin flame union, you might have the same kind of euphoria and then a drop in that euphoria and then having to process on behalf of the collective. There are lots of this going on, lots of crossovers going on now, and I'm going to get into why that's happening. Well, there are a few reasons that's happening. Firstly, the global consciousness on this planet is starting to shift, and it's starting to expand, and it's starting to elevate. As more people come into the portal of the heart, the perception of the heart, the reality of the heart, the truth, the authentic truth of who they are and the world that they are in and the world that they wish to participate in and the earth that they wish to create, or the new earth that they wish to create, as this is gradually going up en masse, that knock-on effect, more people are having, let's say, awakening experiences. We could call them ascension experiences, through connecting with other people. Why is it usually through connecting with other people? It's not always. It can be other life events, and it can happen spontaneously in someone, but it's just much faster and easier to process with another person, or to mirror with another person, or to project with another person, or to work the energy with another person. It benefits them, it benefits you, it benefits the collective as a whole. If you're shifting up in consciousness, it benefits your family, it benefits your children, it benefits your bloodline, it benefits your village, your town, your country, and the collective. So number one, why there is a shift here is because consciousness as a whole is rising. And it is working, and it's not going to be something that goes retrograde or goes backwards in this. It is happening. Okay, it is not a vast percentage of people, but it is still happening at different levels of perception and awareness for people. Some people, like I always say this, some people not so, and they're continuing on the same trajectory. But for large swathes of the population, large swathes of humanity, this is a process that they are engaging in or with in one way or another. So there's a shift in consciousness, and because there's a shift in consciousness, there are more people opening up, more people awakening, more people having the kind of blindfold taken off their eyes, and they're seeing now the reality of things, or seeing through the eyes of the heart, perceiving through the eyes, the ears, the senses of the heart, which is the authentic portal, if you like, of who you truly are and the true reality. So there is a shift going on there, and because it's happening to more people globally are looking for answers. So the first thing they do when they look for answers is they usually will grab a book, or they'll leap up on the internet. Most commonly, they'll leap up on the internet to try and make sense of what's happening with them. And one way or another, they'll stumble across material. Some of that material will be hugely helpful to them. Some of that material will be very detrimental to them. And some of them will be kind of half and half, depending on what the material is, if it's accurate, where it's coming from, why it's coming from that, if it's giving them the authentic clarification or not. So in some ways, nothing new. That's been going on for a while, but there are vast numbers of people awakening now. So there are more people than ever jumping up on the internet trying to find answers to things. So consciousness is shifting, number one. More people are looking into what's going on, number two. Because consciousness is shifting, that's what we used to see, or what even before I was anything to do with the twin flame union template, in the years before I was anything to do with it, it was few and far between, and there wasn't much up there, and even less so before that. So there were only little bits of information, and those kind of experiences weren't happening to very many people. Well, as this awakening process is increasing every week, and often it's in connection with someone else, in a soul connection or a metaphysical connection, a spiritual connection, all of these categories with someone else, as it's increasing for people individually, there are more people, let's say, out there on the internet sharing information from their perspective, through what they've been through. So they will be sharing it from their perspective. So there are people opening up at an unprecedented rate. So they are coming out of the trajectory of the mindset and the analytical mindset, and being more governed by their heart portal and the kind of the authentic self. As these boundaries are blurring between the categories, what I mean by that is there are not any longer clear cut, cannot possibly be any other category signs of, let's say, for example, a twin flame. I'm not saying you can't spot it in energy. If you know energy and you read energy and you can feel energy and sense energy and vibration and frequency, it is still clear. So I don't find it any more unclear than I did. But the traditional, shall we say, or the signs that have been up on the internet for ages, for years now, signs saying if it's this, it's a twin flame. Those boundaries are now no longer accurate because lots of those symptoms are appearing with people that are in contact or in their life or in communication with catalysts, soulmates, soul family, conscious connections that aren't soul family or soulmates but still a conscious connection. There is a blurring here and the symptoms are very much the same. There are differences. One kind of category, the more conscious you are, the more harmonized it is. It doesn't drop so low, you know, the crap doesn't hit the fan, you know, it doesn't drop so low. It's kind of more balanced out. It's not so polarized as twin flame union, for example. A lot of the connections coming in aren't anywhere near as polarized as that. But there is a blurring of the boundaries here because a lot of the ways that twin flame union, let's say, began or started can be seen in all these categories. So people, I would say, are more confused actually because they get up onto the internet and see, oh, these are signs of a twin flame, it must be a twin flame. And in fact, you know, they're in a completely different category to that. Doesn't mean they're in a lower category than that. It just means it's slightly different. That's all, for slightly different purposes. Now I'm going to get into that as well. The slightly different purposes. I have seen within the last month that people from all of the categories of soul connections and conscious connections, some of the conscious connections are nothing to do with soul family. I have seen across the board in all categories similarities in that it seems that on a collective level, spirit, if you like, source, if you like, God, if you like, is using the process of people opening up in that way as a way of clearing for the collective. So you used to just mainly see that in the category of twin flame union, clearing for the families, clearing for the collective, clearing for the soul group. Not anymore. All of the categories I'm listing, apart from the ones that are 100% squeaky clean, fully conscious, 0 point field of energy, because they're not doing a clearing thing in that way. Their pure consciousness and the level they are is doing everything and is everything. And others are imprinting on that from the families anyway. They are what they are. They're not reworking a template or clearing old stuff or old energy. They are already at that neutral point. But across the board in all the other categories, it seems to me, and I'm seeing it through my experience and professional experience here, is that these categories are also being used in a way to provide a service and clear for the collective. So I could say that every one of them categories are, just by their consciousness and awakening in themselves, are enabling other members of the family to imprint on them. The more conscious they become, there's a knock-on effect. It awakens other members of the family. They're clearing for the whole family, the family patterns, regardless of what category they're coming in. Apart from the ones that are squeaky clean and fully conscious, they are working those energies in a different way, unless they're professionally working in it, of course, you know, and helping on behalf of other people. The ones that are fully conscious, they template and retemplate in a different way, and it's much faster. It's almost like instance, boom, 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 like that. They work the energies a different way to those that are coming through the polarized old, I don't use the word karma very often, but karmic trajectory of that. So there is this patterning going on here right across the board now, which I've seen especially in the last month, where it seems like everybody and anybody is, it's almost like as the highest outcome for themselves is the highest outcome for everybody. And it's like everybody is almost gone, they're almost all being wired into the service to humanity and the service to Earth now, which is something That is very different, because that wasn't happening. So I personally, on a personal level, feel it's almost like every single opportunity, it's like wringing water out of a sponge or a flannel, every single opportunity to get someone to become their authentic self, but also to give the opportunity to others to imprint on that authentic template, regardless of how your awakening is, whether it's with someone, not with someone, a life change, a relationship, a connection. Everybody is participating in it, whether they are aware of it or not. And that's another important thing to say that ties in with this. People have been saying to me a lot lately, and my goodness, I've also seen that as well, up close and personal. Why is it that people that are awakening in this way, again, whether it be through soul connections with other people or not, when they're awakening in this way, they go through so much transformation. Like, that's my cat again. So much transformation within themselves. But why is it that they're almost given almost like tons of stuff to transform on behalf of the collective? And usually it starts with the immediate family, like the blood family, the soul family. Sometimes the blood family is not the soul family. Sometimes some of them are. Why is it that they are given so much to transform on such a grand level? And really, my take on this and perception of this and perspective on this is the service orientated bit of it. Like I say, it's not a small select group that are doing the service orientated bit anymore. This is a change in consciousness here. It's almost like everybody is being called upon to do their utmost, if you like, to come into their authentic truth and come out of the programming and the patterning and the belief systems and go through their process at their own rate, wherever their starting point and entry point is. But it's bigger than that. They're not just transforming and shifting and becoming conscious for themselves. They're doing it for their families. They're doing it for the town, the village, the country, the planet. And that's the way it seems to be going. Because how do I know this? Because I can read energy. So I am seeing this in people, but it's not just in their individual energy field. It's much bigger than that. So I can see the size of the energy, the density of the energy, what if it's polarized, if it's not polarized. So how they are shifting it is on a much grander scale. Again, I've seen it over and over again, especially in the last month of my work, where people are processing stuff just like we just used to see, mainly in twin flame union. Because personally, I feel it's like everybody is now stepping up to the plate. Everybody is now stepping up. Everybody is being given that opportunity to sort of alchemize, to transform, to come into that conscious field of energy, to come into their authentic self. But they are also being asked on a soul level, on a collective level, to not only do this for themselves and their own benefit, but for the impact that has on the family group, the soul family, the soul group as a whole, the oversoul, what it has on the blood family, because like I say, not all soul family are blood family. And this is why you will see some extraordinary things happen where something will come out of left field that somebody will say to me, I know I've done years of work on that, and there's nothing left in me. I've done the core soul wound healing, I've tracked it back, and then something in connection with the soul family or the blood family or both will come out of left field that is a characteristic or a personality trait or something in the family that comes out, and the one that is the transformer on behalf of the soul group or the blood family gets the lot. And they are almost like, people say to me, why am I suddenly the black sheep? Or why am I having to deal with all of this? And it's really the bigger picture here. They're processing it on behalf of the lot of them. until the lot of them also on their own trajectory become conscious, or don't, because not everybody will. The more conscious you become, actually, I'm going to be quite blunt here, the more crap it attracts for a while. Why? Because the more conscious you'll become, the more obvious it becomes what is unconscious in you, but also what is unconscious in others. And people that are unconscious don't realize they're unconscious, so they find consciousness threatening. It's like that analogy: the bigger the light, the brighter the light, the deeper the shadow. As you become more conscious, it becomes more threatening for those that aren't. And there's nothing to do with higher or lower, or more conscious is better than unconscious. We're all of these things, and we're all weaving our way through this stuff from all different points, all different perspectives, all different trajectories. I myself have always been very open and outspoken about, I've always come the long way round, God help me, where I've come the long way round through alchemizing, transforming, taking on loads of the old energy. And I mean taking it on when I shouldn't have actually been taking it on. I should have had it pass through me like a filtration. But you take on energy inadvertently, and it sticks to you when you have your own emotional component linked to it, or your own belief system linked to it, something in you linked to it. And of course, this is called being human. We can't help that. You know, we almost have to get to a superhuman stage of mastery where that is not having any effect whatsoever, not one iota, where we are so squeaky clean in our neutral consciousness that, you know, anything thrown out of left field, it just kind of bounces off or just passes through. On your way to that, and that may take, you know, years, it could take years to do that, the very human part of us, you know, hey, you know, we're still here, you know, we're still human, and we're always going to be human. We are here to experience these things through the human vessel. We're just becoming far more self-aware and far more conscious than we've been in millennia. I mean, I'm not going to say ever, because we were there in the times of Lemuria and Atlantis till we messed it up, and then the slate got wiped. We're not going to mess it up this time, but we're coming back round again. So this is why there's numerous things going on. So people are transforming, not just for themselves now, but for the collective, whether they kind of like it or not. It's as if there's a lot of people that are suddenly being pulled in, shall we say, to the act of service orientated thing. And personally, this is a personal note from me, I feel that is the way that humanity is going, as they are becoming more authentic and conscious, that the service and helping everybody thing is part of it. You know, it's not, I don't think it's a personal decision. I think it's part of that consciousness, looking after other people, you know, looking after the collective, looking after the planet is part of it. So that's going on, transforming for the collective, whether you wanted to or not, or whether you had been or not, seems to be happening. Be careful you don't get too looped up in things, and where you can get stuck or blocked is with your own emotional component to it. If you have a core soul wound in there, if you have, especially if it's family or someone like that, soul family or blood family, and then you have your own experience of that, you can get hammered a little bit. Try not to take it on, take it through you. Also with transforming on that level, also the blurring of the classic signs of what these connections are. Lots of confusion about this now, I think more so than ever before, because those classic signs are not classic signs anymore. Unless you read energy, know energy, have lived the categories of the energy that you are working with, those signs can be seen in the majority of the categories now. There are subtle differences. I call them horses out of the same stable. Subtle differences, but there aren't even major differences in the purposes now, because everybody seems to be getting pulled into the service to others consciousness as well of this planet. So there's been a definite shift here. So it's a combination of things really on this video, just highlighting that, because I've been seeing this in the work that I've been doing, and people have been talking to me about it, and I've also seen it up close and personal as well. So there's a combination of things going on. Anyway, there is a little bit more I can say yet, and a few other things I could share. But I don't think I'm going to do that in this video yet. It's probably not the right time. Might bring another one out straight after this. I'm not sure on other soul fractals, like not our soul fractal, but people that we know having other fractals of soul coming into our life, or other aspects of soul coming into life. But I'll either record that straight after this or maybe over the weekend. Anyway, for those of you, I hope you found that interesting. And for those of you that have just had Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good one. Hope you're having a nice Thanksgiving holiday and a nice holiday season, whatever you're doing. On that note, I will love you and leave you as always. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for contributing in all the way you do. I love you and leave you. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.